Siena Agudong is here. Yay! Nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
How does it feel to be home?
I'm so happy. It's automatically, as soon as I walk off the plane, I feel the humidity and I'm like, yes, this is it.
We're going to talk about you being away, but I kind of want to focus on home for a little bit. First of all, what is the first things that you do when you get off the plane? What are your first thoughts when you get out into the airport and actually see home?
Oh my gosh, I've never gotten that question. I love that. I think I immediately unpack, for one, just to kind of get my space clear, and like I have my room set up and whatever, but I go to the beach, honestly. I go straight to the beach because most likely I'm missing like Hawaii water. Yeah, I think I just explore, really. I go on a hike usually the next day. Kind of just like the classic settling back in kind of thing.
Is that things that you do on your own, or do you have people go with you, or is that your chance to kind of reconnect back to where you come from?
A little bit of both. I definitely need to be around my family because that's definitely grounding. But I also really like getting a chance to be out in nature. I just went on a hike the other day, like just by myself, and it was really nice. Like you just kind of get in your own thoughts, and I get to just look at Kauai.
I want you to describe for me, what does your favorite beach look like to, especially for people that don't know that Kauai, you get nice beach, but what is that place to you, not only, as far as what is that place to you, but what does it look like for those that have never been there before? What beach?
I think Honolulu, even though like everyone says it, but it's just because it's a long stretch of sand. And I actually made so many memories there because during 2020, my sister and I, Sydney, she and I both drove out almost every morning to watch the sunrise and swim and surf at pine trees. We're not very good, but like it was really fun. And down on the way, there's like Trilogy Coffee, which is like my favorite coffee place. But it's gorgeous. I think it's the place with the best sunrise and the best sunset, besides Polihale.
Nice. Let's talk about the acting for a little bit. First of all, since I haven't had a chance to talk to you since it's been a while, I don't think that you were doing Fast and Furious yet. You did a cameo in there.
I did.
And so how was being on that set? How was that energy?
It was so nerve-wracking. I actually didn't know what I was auditioning for and what character I was playing. So I mean, it's nerve-wracking to just be on a set like that and with such respected crew members and cast members, but then knowing that I was playing this younger version of Mia from Fast and Furious, there was a lot of pressure on it because I was like, oh my gosh, she's already a well-established character and yada yada, but I learned so much, even just about myself as an actor on that set and like watching everybody around me. I think that is where you get your greatest lessons, is just watching those people around you.
What the ambiance is like, how they act around other people and peers and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. You're known, before Fast and Furious, you were in a lot of things that were with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But then now, as you go to Resident Evil, it's quite a different genre altogether. How did you prepare, or can you even prepare for something like that?
That's a good point. Actually, that's usually what I say. I don't think there is any preparation in it. And I tried so hard to find it, but there really is none. Like, for Disney, being on a network like that, there are certain things that teaches you, and the energy, the big acting, all of it. But I think just getting a few years in with Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, like I was able to learn the grounds of the film industry while also just having fun, with everybody around you. And it's just very lighthearted. And then moving on to something like Resident Evil, where it's constant on-screen chaos and violence and emotional scenes, it's very different, but you realize that all you really have to do is just let go of all control, because that's the only really way you can feel an emotional scene.
And what I'm going to do is that as much as possible, I'm not going to give away too much in Resident Evil. I'm going to hit on a couple of things maybe, but I'm not going to hit on too much because what I want you to do is I want you to go watch it for yourself. In the show, there are two different dynamics that you have to go through.
Right.
As, of course, the character that you're playing, but your character gets infected, and that is a whole nother dynamic. How was it going in between these two extremes?
Insane. Just because, you know, there really is nothing you can relate to when you're playing someone who's so sick and so like violent and just like crazy outbursts. I mean, this is like the T virus that's created in a video game. So, you know, you don't experience it in real life. So it's a bit like, whoa, I have so much creative control and so much freedom to feel as much physical, emotional pain as I want in the character, you know? It was insane. I mean, I only have a few scenes in the beginning where I get to establish what my character is like in a normal and healthy state.
Right.
And then for the rest of the 7 episodes, I am sick and I'm having panic attacks almost every scene. But it was exhausting, but such a good learning experience.
That's interesting. To see that sense of satisfaction and happiness in the craft, and having to do something that's so traumatic. As a matter of fact, I wanted to ask you, so in one scene in particular, you actually get to sink your teeth into one of your characters, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so I won't name who, but that made me so nervous from day one because you can't fake a bite. You actually have to bite that person, you know? You don't want to hurt them, but it's a close-up shot and your teeth have to be in the marks, like in the prosthetic. But the actor who gets bitten, they were very kind, very loving, and very like, let's not make this awkward. Just bite me. It's okay.
Okay. Just bite me, okay?
He literally says that too, yep.
So, because I'm thinking, I'm imagining that as you're preparing for the scene, you're like apologizing like every 5 seconds. Right? I'm sorry. Placing your teeth.
Funny.
Okay, I'm sorry. Bite me already. What is the most joyous moment that you've ever had in part of the acting experience in your current job? Is there something that you did or something that you overcame, a challenge or something like that you just kind of went, okay, and that really was the best part of the experience for Resident Evil anyway?
Ooh. I don't know if there was a specific moment that I could just call like joyous, but I feel like for this project, it's humbling to say, but like I'm also happy I am comfortable enough to say it, but I'm actually proud of this. And I think it's taken me a long time to actually be proud of something that I've done on screen. Not because of the project or anything, but this was actually a role that was consistently challenging every day. And I know how much work we all put into it, cast, crew, everyone. I mean, literally, when I say blood, sweat, and tears, oh my goodness.
Especially on the blood part.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And the sweat part.
No kidding. But I'm proud. And I think I poured my soul into it, and I learned a lesson that I've been trying to learn for such a long time, which has been to do an emotional scene and be able to take care of myself afterwards so that I wasn't carrying it all offset, because I tend to do that. And because there was so many of them, I got to learn, okay, this is how I actually get into character, not taking some piece of me deep inside and bringing it out. It's different. It's very minute, but it's
in the sports sense. So in other words, you were able to leave everything on the court.
Exactly that. Yeah.
I'm imagining that through the Disney days, did you find it hard to watch yourself? Because it sounds like you're actually happy to see what you're doing on camera with Resident Evil.
I think I've always had a hard time. So many actors say this, but we've always had a hard time watching ourselves back on screen. But I also can fight for the other side and be like, okay, well, if I don't watch it, I feel like I'm being ignorant and I have to learn, But as much as I loved working on Disney, and I'm so happy I got to experience it. I would never take anything back, but I'm also so grateful to go into more serious roles and be able to explore that side of my acting. I want to learn everything. I want to do it all.
For those that are fans of Resident Evil, there are going to be people that specifically enjoy your performance, and they are fans of you and Resident Evil. What's the one thing you want to say to those fans?
Ooh. Okay, for the Resident Evil fans, I know how big this franchise is and how well respected and how beloved this is. We are in the same world, same Resident Evil world, same characters, same, like, you're gonna have like Easter eggs, but we just expand the story. So it's not, you know, you won't see Leon or Jill or anybody in this season, but you're gonna have like the Wesker family. So you know Albert Wesker, if you are familiar with the games, just expands into his family and just takes on a new perspective. And I think that's important to go in with. Don't expect that it's going to be exactly the games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fans, there you go.
Yay.
I want to turn to something that's a little bit more personal for you. Tell me something that you've taken from your life before acting. You know, growing up on the island of Kauai, what's something that you always take with you everywhere you go, whether you're in front of the camera or not?
Hawaiian morale, because I was always very scared when I was growing up because, you know, you never really want to leave the island. I get that. And so leaving Kauai to go work when I was 8 years old was very nerve-wracking, and I would get homesick, but I'd also just have this like immense guilt, you know, because I'm like leaving my community, and I don't want, everyone always says, you know, don't forget where you came from, and that is always so important to me. And I think sometimes I overcompensate and really try to downplay my career because I don't want to come across in any sort of high maka way, you know?
Right.
But I realize now that no matter what, I grew up here. I was born and raised here, and my family is here, you know? I'll always have Hawaii. I'll never forget that. So just carrying with me the values and, like, it sounds cheesy, but just aloha. Like, you know, you carry that to set, and I don't want to forget that. Everyone around me is family, and that's the way I see it.
Do some of those cast members, when they first meet you, do they bring up Hawaii once they learn you're from Hawaii? Is that
every time?
Really?
Every time, yep. And then you answer the classic questions about surfing.
So really, do you know hula? Oh, really? Yeah. Do you surf?
Yep.
Well, how do you have internet? Do you have electricity? It's like, stop.
I swear every time I give like a different answer just to mess around with them.
Nice. Okay, you're taking Hawaii with you wherever you go. Yeah. So let's talk about where you've been. Tell me about South Africa. What is that like? I've never been anywhere. I haven't even been on that continent. What was that like for you?
It's so scary. It was like 57 hours. Oh, like flight. Not the full flight, sorry, with layovers, just traveling, but so beautiful. I was there in 2021 to film Resident Evil, and I lived there with my mom for 5.5 months, and it was gorgeous. The beautiful beaches, beautiful culture. The beaches were not like Hawaii, but they were beautiful in their own way. Super cold, though. But I loved it. I adored it. It was culture rich, and I think that was my favorite part.
Tell me one thing that you took away from South Africa that you really enjoyed, whether you made it a part of you or just as an observation that you really enjoyed about it.
Ooh, I'm going to say two things. One, on a more serious note, how grateful I am and how blessed I am. I'm very lucky to live under a roof with a happy and full family, you know, that they don't have a lot of that. It's extreme poverty and wealth, whatever wealth is to them. But I was in Cape Town, so it was kind of like the extreme. They don't have electricity sometimes. It would shut off randomly about 3 to 4 times a week. It was crazy. And then on another note, we don't have like baboons just like walking around, because they would come in the middle of a lunch, and like you'd have to just like move, you know. So we're very safe here. We don't have any of their deadly animals, really.
Okay. Well, you've never met my family. Never. That's a whole other subject altogether. Sorry. So you're part of this franchise, and I am assuming that with your role, maybe I shouldn't ask that question, because that might give away information, and I want to avoid giving away information. Let me restructure that question. So you are in Resident Evil, and are you looking forward to what comes after, whenever that ends? And here we are hoping that it's a long time, but you know, do you look past that to see what other goals and targets there are for you?
Like in my career? Mm-hmm. I do have a few projects in the works, which I'm really, really excited for. But as of right now, I'm planning to go to NYU in the fall, which I'm excited for. And I'm going to try to balance my career at the same time and see how that works out. I'm not in a rush, and I keep reminding myself of that.
Okay, so you're going to be in a beautiful spot right in the middle of Manhattan, which means you're going to be connected to everything. But I'm wondering how you're going to handle, because you're going to be sitting next to people in class on those very first week, and everybody's going to be like, or either that, or it might be like Hawaii, where, you know, everybody just chills and be's normal. So, you know, it's going to be interesting, but you must really be excited about that.
I am really excited. I'm nervous to be in a city, because it's very different. But I think it'll teach me a lot of independence, which I'm really stoked for.
Do you hope that you get to rekindle? I'm guessing that you get to rekindle that Disney connection down the line, perhaps, you know?
Yeah, we'll see. You tend to work around the same people. You go in circles sometimes. So if I get to work with some of the cast members I met when I was younger, I would love and adore that.
Okay. Finally, want to say hi to anybody, whether it be back home or I just, you know, hey, you can say hi to whoever you want.
Hi to my family. I'm not going to say names, because if I forget one, then like later on I'll be so mad at myself.
She's so considerate. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Hi to my friends. Oh my gosh. No, just hi Kauai. Thank you for taking care of me.